Hello and welcome to Coffee with Carey. Yep. Woohoo, it's been a while. But before we get into it, I did want to remind you, looking at my analytics lately, and quite a few people who stop by to watch the episodes I put out are not subscribed to the channel. So I just wanted to ask you, if you are coming back on a regular basis, to please subscribe to my channel. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, but it really helps me out a lot in keeping my videos coming at you. And now we're going to move on because we're talking about the number one rule maybe for a first date. I don't know. There are so many, aren't there? If that sounds interesting, stick around. That's what's coming right up. I had a client meeting today and I explained to him what my go-to standard default date is for my matchmaking clients. It is 7 p.m. choosing a place that has a nice ambiance, good lighting. You can hear one another speak. This time of year, outdoors, perhaps a patio or a rooftop. And it's for cocktails and appetizers. I try not to send anybody out for dinner because I think that's a bigger time investment for a first date. There's nothing more disappointing than having 2 or 3 red flags pop up right after you've ordered an entree. So to avoid that, I always go with the cocktails because that could be an hour, that could be 2 hours, but this is what I wanted to share with you. I am of the belief that you should leave them wanting more at the end of a first date. I would much prefer that my clients go home after that cocktail and appetizers. So in this conversation with a new client, he was saying that for a first date where he's never met somebody, he prefers that the date be for cocktails. But if he has already met somebody or spoken to them and feels that he has an idea of who he's meeting, that he likes an activity date. My point was, I really want you to go home when the other person is really going to be looking forward to that next date. Still has more to learn. You haven't given them so much information about you that they feel, been there, done that. I think that there is big value in a second date, and especially a first date is very basic information. It is a meet and greet very often, and you shouldn't know everything there is to know about this person, and therefore shouldn't really know whether or not this is somebody you want to continue dating long term. There's so much more to discover. So I love the idea of spreading that over a couple dates. And your first date, as we've talked about many times, is for having fun and seeing if you enjoy somebody's company, whether they make you laugh, whether you communicate in the same way, whether you vibe and you're on the same plane in communication. So to do an activity date or dinner or even mini golfing or going to the second location for more conversation, I think that might be a little too much for a first date personally. I want you to leave them wanting more. And also, if there isn't any conversational chemistry or there are red flags or deal breakers that show themselves early in the date, you have an out. You're not stuck for an entire round of mini golf or a whole set of bowling. A game, I suppose, right? A game of bowling. I don't know. We always seem to play 3 games whenever we went bowling as a family. Gosh, it's been years since I've gone. Definitely no bowling expert here. But mini golf, yeah, that game could take a while. Do you want to be with that person you've already determined is not a great connection for you for an extended period of time? I think the midpoint here would be that after that cocktail is over, if you still want a little more time to maybe go for a walk with this person. If you're a coffee lover, maybe it's to grab a cup of coffee. I know that the other day I was passing by Starbucks and there were a bunch of people sitting out there at 10 p.m. So go sit for another cup of Joe this time and have a little bit more conversation. But you know that's not going to go on indefinitely or for hours. I went on a date last year, I remember, and because I didn't plan the date, he did, it was a comedy club, which was fun, but not a great way to get to know this person. So after the date, we did stop and grab some coffee and we sat outside on a beautiful evening and probably talked till midnight, just chit-chatting on a park bench outside the Starbucks on a busy street. And that was a good way to get to know somebody, but we really could have skipped over the comedy thing. Had I been planning the date, or if anybody had asked me for my opinion, I would have just done the coffee and a walk and the park bench and called it a night. If you're looking for an activity, maybe choose a place to have that cocktail and appetizers where there is something to do to engage you more, like a place that has darts or pool tables, or in the city of Chicago here, we've got some bars that have bowling alleys and shuffleboard, things like that. So combining the activity with the drink, or at least something that you know if things aren't going as intended, you can exit gracefully and say that you have an early morning. So I guess to wrap this up and let you know what the point was, the rule is to leave them wanting more, to not draw out the date so that it's hours and hours, and to leave yourself an opening to escape, as it were, or just to call it a night politely if things aren't going well, or if you just feel like that was enough and you want to leave the rest for a second date. So those are my thoughts on the matter. Let me know what you're thinking down in the comments section. And while you're poking around down there, if you would subscribe to my channel and hit the ring bell, then you're notified every time I upload a new episode. That would be super swell. I'll look forward to seeing you back again soon. And until next time, have a good one.